Hey guys, okay, I'm having to do a part 2 on this blog because there's been some comments and questions and some confusion. I want to start off by saying, let's start with this one. Okay, I had several questions that said, how do you feel about guys that do work in the heating and air industry that do side work? Meaning that you work for a heat and air company, but you do work on the side. Okay. That's a different situation, okay? And I know I just recently had some asshole comment on this video, and we're going to touch on that here in just a minute too. That is a different situation, and you know, I know assholes like him may say, "Oh, well, you're a hypocrite." Well, no, I'm not. I do not disagree with people that are working in the HVAC industry that do side work. I don't disagree with that, because when I worked for my father, I did side work. Okay? Now, what I do disagree with is if you go to your boss's house and they got this or this wrong, and your boss works on a flat rate, let's say, and let's say they got a bad TXV, you know, and you go in there and say, hey, look, it's going to cost you this X amount of dollars to replace that TXV. But if you call me on the side, I can do it for this. That I don't agree with. Now, if you've got your own clientele calling you because they know you and they know you do heat and air work and they don't want to use somebody else, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't like these fly-by-night guys these guys that are welders, you know, doing it on the side. You know, they don't, because they don't know what they're doing. But you got some good guys here on YouTube, you know, that question me, and a really good friend of mine that I talk to almost every day that works for a heat and air company that does side work, but you know, because he needs it, you know, for the extra money. But he knows what he's doing. You know, if somebody calls him later on to go fix that unit, he knows how to go fix it. But you get these welders out there like that old lady told me that I was talking about in the last video. You know, I've been taking care of this old lady since I worked for my dad, and I hadn't worked for my dad in 5 years. I've been in business for myself for 5 years. And 2014 summer, when I went out and found that dead compressor, her nephew came and changed the system. And he was a welder at a plant. But like she told me, he knows how to install them. He doesn't know how to repair them. That's what I'm against. But if you're in the heat and air business and you got people calling you, shit, you know, go for it. I did it. That's how I built up my clientele to start my business. You know, I was lucky enough that, you know, and not everybody's as fortunate as me, and I've said this on several videos. I'm very fortunate that my father passed his clientele on to me, but I have built up a lot of my own clientele, and I'm very proud of myself for that. And a lot of it came from side work when I worked for my father, but I never, ever stole one of my father's customers when I worked for him. Never. I never said, well, you got a bad condenser fan motor. If you go through, and I'd say the company name, it's going to cost you this much. But if you call me and I come back later this afternoon when I get off, or you know, Saturday, I can do it for this much. I never did that, and I can honestly say that I never did that. I never stole no customers from my father, and I'm very proud of myself for that. I would only do side work for people that called me. You know, my name started getting around. At the time, me and my wife were not married. We were dating. And she would tell her friends, you know, well, you know, they'd ask her, well, what's John do for a living? Oh, well, he's a heat and air technician. Oh, okay. Well, then her friends would tell their parents, and their parents would call me, you know, and and it's not just through her. You know, I knew other people, but that's how I got a lot of my clientele started. Now, the other thing I want to talk about from the asshole that commented on the previous video, he said, no, hold on, let me read it. I got it pulled up right here. Okay, he says, all of these videos you guys make and put online showing things like checking capacitors and contactors, for example, is cutting yours. He means cutting your own throat. Mine and everyone else's. He's referring to himself. If you guys want to boast and brag about how much HVAC knowledge you have, then why not do it in private? Can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Okay. I'm going to read you what I responded to him. I said, most of the people that watch our videos are in the industry or just starting out in the industry. We try to help each other and we enjoy making videos. What's wrong with that? And then I told him, I said, I have 2 questions for you. Question number 1, why do you watch our videos if you don't agree with us doing videos? Question number 2, I asked him, I said, why do you have to be an asshole? Okay, let me find his reply. And that's the truth. You know, some of you guys, you know, while I'm looking for his reply, I just don't understand, you know, why some of y'all have to be assholes. I mean, it makes no sense to me. Why y'all have to be assholes. And then he writes, dude, you talk about not giving your knowledge for free, but every time you upload a video of a service call, you are giving away your knowledge for free. And I'm just now getting a notification that he commented again. Okay, but we'll get to that in a minute. Basically, I'm not going to read the whole comment because it looks like it's pretty long, but what he did say is, I just got this notification. He said, you're wrong about only HVAC people watching your videos. Maybe most of your subscribers are HVAC people, but I bet you have at least 10 times more do-it-yourselfers that are trying to learn something. Do you know, do what you want. It's America. But I never looked at you as a hypocrite. I think that's the end of the comment. Okay. Well, dude, you're wrong, okay? It is a lot of heat and air guys that watch our channel. Guys, I'm running out of memory space on the memory card. Let me clear some up and I'll get right back to y'all. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I got to get a new memory card for this camera. This is an old cheapy memory card that I got from the dollar store. I don't know what gigabyte it is, but it's the same as all my other ones, but it's one of those cheapies. And anyway, you're wrong. Okay, guy, you're wrong. I'm not going to say your name on video, or your channel name, because I don't know your name. This is the first time you've ever commented on my stuff that I'm aware of. You're wrong about that. Now, I will tell you this. A lot of homeowners watch our videos now, and you'll probably come back and say, well, then you're teaching homeowners how to fix their own shit. Well, maybe. Maybe a few of them. But I know for a fact that if you are thinking that, you're wrong about that too, because I have done work for homeowners that watch YouTube. Okay? Now, my good buddy Ralph on here, if you want to go check him out, I don't know if you watch him or, you know, well, I know you probably do because you say you're, you know, you bitching at us about these videos we put out. By the way, this guy is in the heat and air business that's leaving these comments that I just read off to you. He doesn't like us making videos. But go watch Ralph. His channel name is T&N Services. T and symbol N Services. I'll put it right here. The name of his channel for you in case you don't know. That man does more work for YouTube viewers than any of us. And I experienced it firsthand, because if you have watched a lot of my videos, I went down to Georgia and spent a week with Ralph. We changed out an air handler together. We did an air handler together, and we ran like 3 or 4 service calls together. Maybe more than that. We went to a YouTube viewer's house, okay? I heard the guy on the phone. Ralph answered his phone. We were going down the road. Ralph went TNN Services. The guy's like, hey, man, I saw you on YouTube, and I saw a bunch of the other fellas on YouTube. I know you're in my area. I need you to come to my house for air conditioning work. Having trouble. You know, I want you out here. He said, okay, well, I'm actually free right now. He's like, all right, well, come on over. So me and Ralph went to that guy's house. We knocked on the door, and I was with Ralph. And when the guy opened the door, he was like, hey, Ralph, he's like, and he looks at me and he goes, oh, shit, man, you're Israel from YouTube. And, you know, that was pretty cool. I said, yeah, man. I said, you watch my stuff too? He's like, hell yeah, I watch your stuff. And he shook my hand, and, you know, so that's from experience, dude. So you can say what you want. I just did a change out for a YouTube viewer a couple weeks ago. He called me. He said, hey, man, saw your stuff on YouTube. And this is what he told me. And, you know, pardon my French, you know. He said, I want you to come do this job for me. I need a new system. I've gotten bids from X company, Z company, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say their names. He said, but the fact that you have the balls to show your work on the internet and show people what you're capable of, he said, that tells me right there you're not afraid, you know, and you know what the hell you're doing. He said, come on out to the house and give me a price. And I said, okay. So, you know, that guy didn't fix his shit himself. He called me out, you know, to do it. Homeowners like to see guys like us put videos up because they say that they like to see the heating and airman perform his work, you know, instead of just doing research on him and reading about it. And I do have a website. He said, and most of them tell me, yeah, you know, websites are great. You know, we can read about what you know and do. But the fact that you have videos of what you know and what you do, he said, that's badass. That's what he told me. So, you know, man, you got it all wrong. You got it all wrong. And, you know, you're just another troll here on YouTube that we've all gotten used to. But, you know, man, all you trolls out there that are nasty, I just wish y'all would stop, man. I mean, there's no sense in all that. We're just having fun. We enjoy making videos. We're friends. I mean, like I said, me and Ralph have spent time together, you know, and I've made some of the best friends that I have here on YouTube. You know, it's a hobby and we enjoy it. But anyway, so I wanted to just make this part 2 to clear those 2 things up. I hope that it did clear it up. And again, I thank y'all for watching my videos. Thank you to all my subscribers, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.